you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Paula, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, over 1,000 university programs still need accreditation. Protests planned against Vorenga Bainimarama fizzle out in Sydney. And police operations begin ahead of busy festive period. An estimated 13,000 people with links to Fiji turned up at the Fiji Day Celebrations in Sydney, Australia yesterday, where Prime Minister Vorenga Bainimarama was chief guest. Bainimarama said the fact that former Fiji citizens were made to feel unwelcome in their own country is the most shameful episode in Fiji's history.
Prime Minister Vorenga Bainimarama was accorded a traditional welcome at the Fiji Day Celebrations held in Sydney.
Friends, this is a great occasion, a gathering of the Fijian tribe in Australia, the Fijian family, because I always say that it is precisely what we are, an extended family stretching from our island home across the world to wherever Fijians gather.
Bainimarama took the opportunity to reflect on the long, hard journey of the past 45 years since independence, during which many Fijians left the country due to political instability.
I know that many of you lost faith in Fiji, especially in the terrible aftermath of the events of 1987 and 2000. I've said it before, and I say it again. The fact that you are made to feel unwelcome in your country of birth is the most shameful episode in our nation's history.
Bainimarama says during these migrations, precious resources were lost that robbed Fiji of decades of development.
Yet it wasn't just a brain drain. Tragic as that was, it was the Fijian family torn apart. And today I want to say sorry for those of you who suffered, the many thousands who were made to feel like strangers in their own country, who felt obliged to seek new homes elsewhere, leaving loved ones and friends behind. Coming to Australia, in your case, and having to start all over again.
He's urged the former citizens to reconnect with Fiji by building a home for themselves or investing here. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Meanwhile, an anti-government and anti-prime minister's protest that was being organized for the past few weeks turned out to be a flop. The group timed their protest to coincide with Fiji Day celebrations in Sydney. Ritika Pratap has the story.
Anti-government people like Oni Kerwin, who has been behind the formation of the separate Christian state in Indra and Nandonga, and self-exiled failed lawyer Rajendra Chaudhry, had applied and received a permit from the New South Wales Police to protest against the Prime Minister's visit. They had called on all their supporters to protest during the Prime Minister's appearance at the Fiji Day celebrations and had urged supporters to throw eggs and tomatoes at the Prime Minister. However, the planned protest fizzled out, with only a handful of protesters showing up. Sources said the protest was unsuccessful because of a rumor that many overstayers were going to be arrested and sent back to Fiji. A handful of people held banners and placards. However, this was overshadowed by around 13,000 people who took part in the celebration proper. Prime Minister Vorenga Bainimarama also didn't let the protesters get in the way of his visit. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
And most of the programs at Fiji's three main tertiary institutions haven't been accredited by the Fiji Higher Education Commission. They cover everything from certificate-level courses, masters and doctorates, reaching about 1,300 programs. Akusita Tale has more.
There's an independent body within the Fiji Higher Education Commission that vets all tertiary programs. The Committee for the Accreditation of University Qualifications has a huge backlog to deal with, but its quality won't be compromised for the sake of speedy approvals of more than 1,000 courses.
This accreditation process, especially for the type that the Minister of Education is talking about, we have 4 people on the panel. One from the university that provides the qualification, one from one of the other alternate universities, one from industry, and one from outside Fiji. These are 4 people that we have to get together to accredit any one program. So 1,300 times we've got to do this.
At its first meeting last week, the committee rejected 4 programs which were below par. Only one ticked all the boxes. The Commission wants to get consultants in February next year to fast-track programs, not to compromise quality, but speed up the accreditation process.
It's important also to let the public know that this committee that met, we had 10 programs from the universities put to them. One was fully accredited under the framework, 4 were provisionally accredited, and 5 were declined. Now, that should give the public an indication of how difficult this is.
The Commission is working with employers and the Education Ministry to identify programs that don't work so that universities can make necessary changes. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
More than 100 officers from the Police Response Unit will be deployed to various divisions this week as we approach the festive season. The directive has come from the Commissioner's Office for Men and Women to be out on beat patrols at the earliest. Julie Vatuwaliwali has more.
This is the first time end-of-year operations have begun this early on, a new strategy to deter would-be criminals.
As I've stated, just to improve our service delivery and regain the confidence of the people in terms of our visibility within the populated areas, and also to fasten up some of the backlog cases that have been causing a lot of discussion amongst the community.
The Police Response Unit will also be visible on the streets and at checkpoints in strategic locations. 20 personnel are already in the west, 10 will be dispatched to Taviuni, while others will be stationed in Nosori and Lambasa.
It depends on the situations that we are facing on the ground. That is why we have changed. It's no longer a norm that we come up with December, so now we have started now. So that by December at least everything should be conducive for the members of the public to enjoy themselves in Christmas and New Year.
Christmas and New Year's are always a tense time for the police. Apart from looking after people who've been drinking too much, it's also when break-ins and robberies occur the most. Fijians are being advised to work with the police and report any criminal activities that may occur. Julie Vatuwaliwali, FBC News.
Stay tuned after the break. International Food Festival hailed a success.
With one heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabalaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics, right here on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC News. The School Management Association of Fiji is concerned by accusations from the Education Ministry that school managers are misusing government grants. President Govind Singh said it's an attack on their integrity and has called on managers to ensure their reputation isn't tarnished. An audit has found that 20% of school management in the country have abused grants. However, Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says this is an understatement after an audit of 128 schools.
77% of them utilize money without any authorization or approval outside the allocation guideline. 29% did not have a separate account, each school. 36.7% used money from one allocation to the other or a different allocation without any approval from the ministry.
53% of the schools used money with no record. Climate scientists say the El Nino effect will continue to have a major influence on the climate and ocean for the rest of this year and much of 2016. It's likely to hit its peak towards the end of 2015 and remain so until about June. Ritika Pratap reports.
Fiji and other Pacific Island countries will experience more irregular weather patterns in the coming months due to the El Nino phenomenon.
So there is a risk of extreme rainfall events even where drier than normal conditions are forecast. Now, El Nino events have also been associated with increased risk of coral bleaching and changes in tuna catch. Note that impacts do vary from event to event across the region.
Weather experts from across the Pacific met in Suva during the first Pacific Islands Climate Outlook Forum. Andrew Tate says the risk of typhoons in Western and Central North Pacific is high for the remainder of 2015.
Southwest Pacific tropical cyclone activity is expected to be above normal for the 2015-16 season, and tropical cyclone numbers are expected to be elevated for a majority of the Pacific Island countries close to or east of the international dateline, and their tracks may be less predictable.
For Fiji, outer islands and parts of West and North are already being supplied drinking water. Tate says maintaining access to safe drinking water and sanitation is already a daily challenge.
The unfolding El Nino event has the potential for significant water-related impacts for many communities across the region, with likely conditions varying according to location and circumstances.
Pacific Island countries, including Fiji, experienced the worst El Nino phenomenon in 1997 through to early 1998. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Fiji Broadcasting Corporation held another successful Bhutto Paula night in Lambasa yesterday. The show was attended by hundreds of people at Subrel Park who enjoyed a night of music and dance, as well as entertainment by some of FBC's most popular radio personalities. A live show by the host of Batini Tanua was the highlight of the night. Bhutto Paula also featured a number of bands who played some popular local music. And FBC does not charge entry fees to its Bhutto Paula shows. The International Food Festival in Nadi has closed on a high note, with participants and patrons pleased with the outcome. Organized by the Fiji National University, the festival promoted local and international cuisine with the theme Home Garden and Backyard Farming, Food for All. Apart from a wide variety of food types at the food festival, displays included stalls promoting healthy foods and lifestyles. Students who've been learning cooking and the culinary arts also got a chance to show off their skills.
There's more involvement of the students from within the FNU colleges. It's been an amazing week. We've had lots of people coming in, the local community as well as tourists.
This was the second food festival organized by FNU. Crushing at the Penang sugar mill in Raki Raki has been extended due to the bad weather. Sugarcane Growers Council Chief Executive Sundaresh Chetty says this was decided following a meeting with the Penang mill management. Crushing was to have ended today as decided by the Sugar Industry Tribunal. However, it has now been extended by 24 hours. Chetty says over 1,000 tons of harvested cane is lying in the fields as farmers were unable to load them onto lorries due to the bad weather over the past few days. Penang Mill is stockpiling cane until tomorrow morning, when crushing is expected to resume. And crushing at the Lambasa Sugar Mill will end next Saturday. Now, in our successful Fijian segment tonight, we speak to a man who has been at the forefront of the aviation industry spanning a few decades. 73-year-old Norman Yee has always had a love for airports and airplanes that saw him land in the industry straight out of high school. Madhu Bolaitamana spoke to the former Chief Executive Officer of the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Scout the South Pacific for a place to put in a big airport. They went all around the Pacific. And they found Nadi was the only place in the Pacific that could, handle a big aircraft, jets of the future. So that's how Nadi Airport came into being.
Norman Yee is a name synonymous with our aviation industry's regulating body, and rightly so. This 73-year-old Nasinu-raised farm boy, as he likes to call himself, is one of the pioneers that served among expatriates in the sector many decades ago.
Well, we were the first locals to be hired into the airport, so everything we did were the first, so we were the pioneers. On top of that, during those times, we were the first in the world to introduce GPS in our aircraft. And that means that aircraft can fly to any airport in Fiji without needing navigational aids. And that took 18 months, and this happened in 1994. The other thing we did was to provide a screen for air traffic controllers where they can control the airspace, our airspace of 4.5 million square kilometers. Whereas using satellites, because it's not possible to use radar in this big, vast airspace.
Yee was selected straight out of high school to train as a radio technician in the early 1970s as the government started working with the consortium of authorities that ran the aviation sector then to phase in more locals with a skill set and know-how to take over roles held by expatriates.
I had a scholarship. I received a scholarship to study to be a radio technician in Brisbane for 5 years and to come back to Fiji to maintain all the equipment at the airport, at Nadi International Airport. At that time, the airport was run by a consortium called the South Pacific Air Transport Council, a consortium of members from UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Fiji.
According to Yee, at the height of his career, there was always something amiss. He says he found that answer some years ago and has never turned his back. He has even gone to write an autobiography of his faith and beliefs.
And there was a marriage encounter weekend that was run in the parish. So my wife and I joined. And while there I felt a touch of God, like I felt a spiritual presence in the room.
He says he always tried to excel in every responsibility given to him, and that is why he found favor in authority. Looking back, the father of 6 and grandfather of 4 says the principles of a good work ethic was drummed into him very early in life by his hard-working parents. Madhim Boletamana, FBC News.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Coming up in sports, Matt Kuchar wins Fiji International. And All Blacks to face South Africa in World Cup semi-final.
छू छू 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
Welcome to FBC Sports. World number 16 and American Matt Kuchar has won the 2015 Fiji Golf International Tournament. Kuchar finished the final day on 3 under par 69 and finishing the tournament on a total of 4 under par. Australian Aaron Price, who finished the day on 1 under par, finished the tournament in second place on a total score of even par.
4 days. I'm not sure what happened Wednesday. Coming over from President's Cup, a little bit tired, and then put together some really good golf.
Meanwhile, Fijian Vijay Singh was the best player on the final day of the competition. Singh carded a course record score of 7 under par today to finishing third on the leaderboard. PGA Australia CEO was full of praises for the former world number one's performance today.
Special mention to Vijay Singh, course record today, very fitting on a course he's designed. Big week, very challenging week, but congratulations to Matt and all of the players.
The golfers received a prize pool of more than 1.7 million Fijian dollars. Defending champions, the All Blacks thrashed France 62-13 in the Rugby World Cup quarter-final today. Rohit Deo with the details.
The reports and updates of the Rugby World Cup is proudly presented by Vodafone, Power to You, and Airports Fiji Limited, creating new experiences, Fiji's gateway to the world. In association with FMF, the right choice. Total Exilium New Generation, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometre after kilometre. Sun Insurance, for Fijians by Fijians. Supported by Fiji Airways, Deluxe, Island Chill, Comfort Home Furnishing, Rooster Chicken, Legal Aid, Land Transport Authority, and Central Rentals.
Now the kick from Michalaka's chance. Brody Retallick will score.
It was always expected to be a tough affair between the 2011 finalists, but the All Blacks came out firing out of the blocks.
Oh, brilliant try!
This was the All Blacks' best display of rugby at this year's tournament, outplaying the French in every aspect of the game. Indiscipline cost France a fortune as the All Blacks pulled away in the second spell, Julian Savea grabbing a hat-trick on the way.
Julian Savea is in for a hat-trick.
Captain Richie Mako full of praise for his side's performance today.
If anything that came out of it, you realise that the intensity of the quarter-final is up a level, and we knew that without having to think back too far. So we prepared as such this week, and put a performance together like that tonight. So as I say, it's another step, but we haven't done anything yet. All we've done is earn another week.
All Blacks coach Steve Hansen was also glad that the team stepped up to the occasion.
They can all play. They can all score.
You work hard, and these guys have worked hard for the last 4 weeks, and to come in and play a big game and either turn up and play or go home is enough to get you to where you need to get to mentally, and then it's about backing your talent.
The All Blacks will now play South Africa in the semi-finals next week. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, in an earlier quarter-final, South Africa defeated Wales 23-19, and here are the highlights.
And Bigger, little scoop forward for himself to chase. It's landing nicely. He's judged this well, and Bigger takes it. And now Bigger heading down the line, and he gives it out to Gareth Davis. And Davis for the try. And Wales hit back immediately. Final 6 minutes, and South Africa get the shove on. The penalty might come here. It's just being held at the back there. Wales have to be stout. Vermeulen picks up and goes. Slips it away to Furi de Preer. And de Preer for the try. And South Africa's captain. Now Willem Alberts. This will go out from their captain, their try scorer, and Furi de Preer sends the ball into the stands.
In other quarterfinals, Ireland plays Argentina at 12 a.m. tomorrow, while at 3 a.m. the Wallabies take on Scotland. You can watch the entire tournament live on Fbctv. Vodafone Fiji Sevens captain Osir Kolinisau has mapped out his plans for the Rio Olympics next year. The 30-year-old aims to make a strong outing at the new World 7 Series, which starts in December. The current World Series champions are well into off-season program, with some players to be released to their local club teams, which will compete in the Central Coast Sevens in Sydney, Australia next weekend.
I put on the hard yards. I know that this season is going to be very challenging, as we know that Rio is in the backdrop of the series. But I'm trying my best. I'm trying to put on every extra effort in training.
The first leg of the 2015-2016 World 7 Series will be held in Dubai on December 3rd and 4th. The Melbourne Victory football side defeated Melbourne City 3-2 in the Hyundai A-League last night, and here are the goals.
Time to venture forward, little layoff by Berisha, Kalfala, deflection, goal! Pressure, it's Kalfala who floats it to the back post, and there's Costa Barbarouses. For now more, top of the box, Fonderoli, great turn, and there's a goal for Melbourne City. He'll look to go crossfield, and it's not a bad release, and it's Stephen Moore, chance for 2-2, how about that? Gets his head down, whips it across, there's the winner surely for Melbourne Victory.
Meanwhile, later tonight, Roy Krishna and his Wellington Phoenix side take on Perth Glory. Rain and windy conditions affected most parts of the country today. Tropical depression O2F was 410 kilometers northwest of Nadi at 9 a.m. this morning. The associated trough of low pressure with associated cloud and showers still affect Fiji. Now, despite the wet conditions over the Group 3 centres managed to cross into the 30s today, while Nadi and Suva were in the high 20s. Tomorrow's forecast is for continued cloudy conditions and showers over Fiji. As for Tuesday, some showers over the eastern and interior parts of the larger islands. Afternoon or evening showers are expected elsewhere. Recapping our headlines tonight, more than 1,000 university programs are still to be accredited by the Higher Education Commission. Police begin festive season operations this week. An anti-Bainimarama protest in Sydney fizzles out with poor turnout. On to our poll question this week, we are asking, should we keep John McKee until the 2019 Rugby World Cup? You can visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.